Brilliant. I might have to. I like that idea. Great work.
Anyway, guys, we are live. Sorry, me and Chris were having a little blather off here. But yeah, back for another Q&A session with Mr. Chris Palmer, SEOmastermind.org, if you want to join Chris's mastermind. And also do check out ODYS if you're interested in age domains. If you want to launch an affiliate website, get yourself a head start, or launch a business using an age domain, get yourself a head start, get a good backlink profile to begin with from ODYS. So check that out. And I'm glad to say one thing. Fred is back again, and he's back at the top where he should always be, Fred. So good to see you. He was top yesterday as well, first in. So there you go. Adam Poland is here. Maeve. Adam Hawthorne. Good evening, mate. Nice picture in the background here. Nice bit of scenery. But before we go to the questions, so guys, put your questions in the chat. Anything at all, we will try our best to answer. But before we do, Chris, what is happening in the world of Chris Palmer? Anything new? Any gossip? Any drama? Anything interesting?
Well, not really. I ran a test the other day for watch time. That was kind of fun. That's an interesting thing. No, but nothing, just working. It's been fun. Nothing good. Nothing like juicy, you know.
Oh, man. Neither have I. I just like to ask just in case, because I know people like you, Chris, who are a bit crazy, in my opinion. Like, sometimes if you don't ask, they don't tell. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're going, yeah, I've got this new tool, Craig, and you'd be like, Chris, why you not fucking told me this stuff? And you'd be like, I thought I did tell you. Because I know what it's like when you're always asked stuff from different people.
Yeah.
Who the hell you've told what to?
Dude, right? So, yeah.
So you're just like,
sometimes like, oh, Chris, I'm like, no, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I've got a fairly good memory, but it does become overwhelming when you get someone ping you a Facebook message. Yeah, mate, remember I spoke to you 6 months ago and you said this, and you're like, no, can't remember saying anything like that. But it gets weird, but
it's fun though.
All good. Talking about weird, Mr. Craig Mullins is here. Only joking. Only joking. Mr. Craig Mullins is a legend of a guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is a good guy. Kamal, good to see you. Glenart is here. But as well as saying hello, everyone, make sure you do give us a like on the video. Craig's took that in the right way. LOL, no insults intended. But if you've got questions you want to ask me, Chris, or just have a rant in general, away, in the live chat, you know, we are here to answer whatever you've got. But as we were talking off here, Chris, obviously I've started the private mastermind thing, which obviously what we're discussing, you've got yours and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that is going reasonably well. One other person in there is Holly Stark is in there as well. So
she's great. I like Holly a lot,
and she's chipping in with some good tips and advice. But yeah, the old mastermind. I've got one. Chris has got one. Obviously, we've both got different levels of experience, different areas that we work in. So no reason why you can't be in 2, 3, 4 masterminds, whatever you want to be in, guys. So obviously, my mastermind, my plan is to obviously do kind of generic Q&As where I can be a bit more open with people. I'm going to do a live affiliate case study where I've literally got a website. I'm going to build it. I'm going to order, you know, the content. I'm going to explain why I'm ordering that content and you know, the structure of it and all that kind of stuff. Ordering links. So I'm literally going to do a walkthrough and building a website in the casino niche, which is really competitive. But I'll explain why as well tomorrow on that private mastermind. So you can check that out. But Chris, as well, just as a little plug, for your mastermind? What goes on in there? What can people learn? Is it everything, or is there a specific focus? How does it work?
So I break it up into multiple parts. So the first part is we're focusing on primarily testing of local and other SEO. It's a testing group. So I'm testing different strategies, techniques, things that people hear, but it could be YouTube, it could be local, it could be affiliate, it could be anything. Like if you want it to be tested, that's what we're doing in the first group. Second group is a hot seat where we do live Q&A. I consider it a coaching group. Once we run out of hot seat questions, I go into whatever the newest training for the month is, whatever people want to learn, whether it's cloud stacks, whether it's video marketing, podcast marketing. And they both have that feature, where it's consulting, it's coaching, but there's a theme. This is testing, this is coaching, and then I'm really going into the trainings live. So I really like what you're doing there. That's something that I was asked to do on the back end, is to do a live. So like the consulting group is going to move into that. Like, hey, let's start a site and let's walk through the process. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you building that? I love that idea. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's got to do something. But here's a question, and something I'm going to have to change. Our masterminds are going to clash tomorrow. Adam, I've got a question for you. Who's are you going to? Mine's or Chris's? Serious answer, please. I'm only kidding.
I go to you. Well, you're new. And dude, I might have to cancel it just to show up, man. I'm interested in the affiliate. I love picking your brain, man.
With mine, I didn't realize that clashed with yours. Literally, I've got mine scheduled. Let me just check. Let me check. I tell you what, dude, that Mighty Networks is fucking amazing. For a mastermind group. Tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. What time does yours start at, Chris?
12. I start at 12 noon.
So you're 5. I might try and put mine back. Make it earlier, because I don't want it to clash anyway. I think, everyone's got great value to be had, and different stories to tell, and different experiences to talk about. So I don't want to clash with you anyway, for sure. So I'm going to look at that and see if I can get that changed. But Randy says, great mastermind today, Craig. Appreciate it.
See, not everyone's solid like that. You guys hear that? You see how Craig is? Not everybody's solid like that. I've dealt with a lot of people. Not everyone's solid like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I don't want to clash with you. We're not competing. We're working together here. We want to help the audience. Not everybody's. Craig's the man, dude. You're all right, Craig, man. You're a good dude.
No, listen, as I say, it's not I don't see it's competition. I'm always happy to promote your mastermind as well. I think you've got a lot of good insights and stuff to give people that potentially I'm not as strong on. Certainly the GMB side, that you do a lot of stuff on it. I'd never claimed to be a GMB expert, so I think you're the man to be educating that stuff. And someone's just called you Hey Palmer. I'm good, Palmer. How are you?
I'm doing good. My friends call me Palmer, so we must know each other.
As I say, it's not a competition thing. I've obviously got a level of experience that I want people to be able to tap into. So that's the whole purpose, not to compete, challenge, or whatever. So I will try and make sure I do not clash with Chris, and make sure that I'll invite Chris in as a guest on as well, and we'll fucking pick the brains off him. Or I'll pick the brains off him, get real down and dirty, and get as much as we can out of him. So yeah, no competition here. And as I say, Chris is a good guy, and as I say, I always advocated going to his mastermind. So make sure you do. Don't just think that it's all about me. As I say, if people see value in me, come to my mastermind. If not, go to someone else's. So there you go. But anyway, enough about that. Adam Poland, is there much benefit to buying a domain for a Google business website?
I believe that there most certainly is. I think it's good to have something attached. I've seen a lot of talented guys out there that can do it without, but why put yourself at a disadvantage? I think it's best to have something that's aged, that has some authority, right? Plus, they're going to correlate that age with the age of your business. It can help you along. So it is really good to have a website and that's attached, or an internal page. It doesn't have to be a new website. It could be an inner page or a subdomain of a website. So yes, I think it's a really good idea to have a benefit of a domain for sure.
Hopefully that answers it. You've got Yala Case here. Hello. Rugavir. Hello, my man. Insight Before Action. Good to see you as well. Insight Before Action actually has a question. And lead gen site, the best way to change the contractor for lead without being shafted, invoice or a better way? So do you do a lot of lead gen, Chris?
Not a lot of lead gen. I don't do a lot of it. Isn't SEO for local clients technically lead gen in a way? I'm not going out there to target small little towns and creating one-page websites. No, I don't do it that way. I don't do that. But generating leads for clients in the local markets, yes. So as far as the best way to charge the contractor for a lead without being shafted, invoice or a better way. Invoicing is more than fair. A lot of the things that I've done were really phone calls when we made an agreement, and that was the agreement, So I do what works best for you. I can't give much insight. Most of the stuff that I did was like handshake kinds of stuff. Yeah. So like we made an agreement, and that's what it was.
Yeah. So sometimes that can work, sometimes it doesn't. But some of the high performing lead gen things that I've been involved with in the past is someone gets 100 leads a month. Now, no one wants to pay for 100 leads a month if only 50 of those convert. So a lot of people come to an agreement where if they send over 100 leads, that company will pay 50% of that. So it would only pay an agreed fee for 50 leads and so on. So it really comes down to you and what the agreement is, because, there is going to be certain leads that are dog shit. Let's be honest, if you're doing lead gen. So you need to come up with something that suits you and that person. And a lot of people come up with a general conclusion based on data saying we convert 50% of those leads you send us, Craig. So I'm only prepared to pay for 50% of the leads that you send over, and then work on a weekly or a monthly invoicing thing. I would say weekly though. You don't want to be sitting there waiting for tens of thousands of pounds or whatever it might be. You want to try and get your cash flow coming in a bit quicker. But on a smaller level, I think I've also done the thing, Chris, where it's been a handshake. However, when I've done that handshake, the customer always tries to wriggle out of it. Some of those leads were shit. And, I said in my mastermind, actually, I was just mentioning in the mastermind, I had a dude who was selling double glazing windows. And, he got leads over and people were like, listen, I'm interested in double glazing windows. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as that's said, that's a fucking lead. Then the guy would be like, all right, Mary Doll, and talk a lot of shit to her and flirt with her and stuff. And then they couldn't agree a time to go out because Mary worked and he didn't want to work at night or whatever. So his setup and his way of handling customers was shit. And he then didn't want to pay me because he couldn't sell properly and he didn't, understand business properly. Should I be penalised because I still generated a lead? Absolutely not. And that's where this debate comes in and people start fighting. So you need to nail that stuff down. What is a lead first and foremost? What constitutes a lead? Is it a phone call and someone saying, I want this service? Is that it? Because there's so many things that are in the contractors thing that could mess this up. It could be overpriced. It could be, speaking to people the wrong way, not answering the phone quick enough, not getting the quote out quick enough. And they're all things that would impact whether you're being paid or not. So, there's a lot of things that are out with your control. So you need to tie that down and make sure you don't get shafted, because essentially you do get shafted in the end. So
that's part. Yeah. I can't argue with that. I'm trying to think back, like how many times was I screwed, like dealing with these travel clubs. I remember a lot. It's $200 a show, and you're checking your sheet, and they're like, oh, this wasn't a qualified buyer, and they didn't make $50,000 a year, and blah blah blah. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. I probably did get burned quite a few times.
Yeah,
in order with that.
these motherfuckers just don't want to pay the bill. It's like someone like you, Chris, who's tight as fuck, trying to get money out of you. You're going to try and wriggle out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like your mates at the bar who don't like spending money. You know, when it's their round, they disappear to the toilet conveniently. You know, and no one wants to pay for things. Everyone's always trying to hustle their way out of sticking a hand in a pocket. And lead gen's no different. You know, you look at it in all walks of life. And talking about tight people, Mark Lawrence is here as well. He said he's going to PM you the Zoom links to get some revenge for previous invasions.
Nice.
It's different, Mark, because I need to admit you to the room. Like, so it's not just a free-for-all. So if I see Chris coming up, I'm just like, nope. So, Mark, I've got you there.
I wouldn't disrespect you, man. Never.
But Yala Case is asking, what do you think about Holly's Google News tactics? We are so impressed by its powerful impact. I've got to say, I love Holly. The tactics that she uses, I'm a big fan of. You know, I think Holly's certainly one of a few people that I massively respect in this. So I've got nothing but good things to say about Holly. However, certain people will say, oh, it's a bit dodgy, or it's a bit this or a bit that. It works, and that's all you need to ask yourself. It's powerful, and it has its place in this industry. So I'm 100% behind it. You know, maybe if you ask someone white hat, they'd be going, stay clear of that stuff, you know, whatever. But nah, I love Holly and get the utmost respect for everything she does. And she's actually here. Didn't realize she was here as well. But yeah, Holly's news network and tactics and everything that Holly does, I'm a big fan. Chris, I know you're not going to say anything otherwise because Holly would batter you. But I'm a big fan.
If you have any question, go take your backlink profile, scroll through the news network, and make yourself a believer. It will certainly. I was like, I don't know, guys, these sites aren't looking that good. I ran it through. It's been nothing but a success for every client, honestly. So I love it. I want to go point it straight to the homepage, but hey, it's definitely powerful. There's no doubt. You'll make yourself a believer. Go try it out. If there's any hesitation, try it. You know, it's like peanut butter. You know, you're like, it looks kind of funky, but boy, is that good. You know.
Hello, Rugi here, if we didn't say hello. Craig Mullins charges people in advance, no net 30 crap. So, I mean, Mullins obviously does very well in his life, but would you get someone to pay you in advance for leads that they don't already have? I'm not sure. Is that not going to make things a little bit harder to sell? Just out of curiosity.
That's tough. And then when you're taking money in advance, then it's never going to be what, you know, that's tough. I never was able to do that, you know.
Yeah.
Not usually want to give them leads in advance, you know.
Exactly. But listen, I'm not here to criticize the way you do it, Mullins. You know best. And I'm sure there's a very valid reason for that and stuff like that. So how successful is that, or is it a harder sell, Craig, out of curiosity? Just so we know. ZD Electricals there. Good to see you, bud. Insight before action. Trying to implement as many redundancies if the contractor reneges on the handshake, charging less than 5% of what the average job cost. Cheers for the life experience you've had. So, yeah, contractors reneging on handshakes. There's just certain people out there that can't be trusted anymore, man. I've been bumped so many times by fuckers out there, man. But anyway, Andy, good to see you in here as well. Good to see a nice pint of Guinness in your hand. In the UK, isn't it better to rank a lead gen website and then rent it to a client on a monthly retainer with a month up front? Potentially, that's the route I went down, Andy. Previously, there's different ways to look at this. Now, some of the stuff I ranked and then went to people and they took it and stuff like that. However, I probably wasn't fairly compensated for my time and effort and everything, because some of these people won big contracts and they got more leads than they would normally get. So my income's not scalable, even though I own the website and I own all those rankings. So I think purely from a business head point of view, if you want to scale your income, then a lead gen and you sell the leads as a per lead basis makes a lot more sense. However, just for ease of stress, ease the debates and fighting and all that with the client, then a monthly retainer, I eventually went down that route. And as I say, I knew that clients were going to be making more money and paying me less, but it eliminated a lot of stress. And that's a decision that I took. And I thought, it's not all about money for me. It's also about not having as much stress and as much fighting, because I did initially go down the lead gen route, and it was just an absolute headache. Certainly locally in the UK, I think it's a bit easier in the US because people are a bit more open to stuff. But certainly here in Scotland, some local businesses still do not even have websites, guys. So they still pay for yellow pages and think that they're getting loads of business from it. So that's how much we suck here. But insight before action, try to minimize the burn. Chris, Randy has a question regarding SEO agency pricing. When and how do you approach long-term clients about price increases? So he goes on to say, I've had clients that I've had for 18 to 24 months that I've kept at the same rate when they started. Thinking it's time to increase. What do you think? I've got some input, but I want to see Chris's first.
Sometimes there has to be stuff in place so they realize your value. When there's slight drops or things happen to where they're like, hey, we need to do this. That's when I've always introduced price increases. So maybe shut some links off, or maybe they drop slightly, or an update happens. Due to this, there's been a price increase. Because it's going to cost more for services, more for content, more for everything. So it's a very tough thing to happen, but usually it's when there's a dire need or there's a problem has been the times that I've increased price. So I'm curious to see what you're going to say, though. Great.
So I think it's a mindset thing. Now, I've been in the position where when I started out with an agency, I, in my mind, had to make X amount of money to pay the staff and all the overheads. So I had to hit, say it was 10 grand a month. I had to hit 10 grand a month. And it didn't matter to me whether that was having, hundreds of guys that are paying me £200 a month or £300 a month or whatever it was. Now, as I went on, progressed through my agency life, not once now. I bear in mind I ran an agency for 9 fucking years, and not once did I ever go to a client and increase the price stupidly. Now, that meant that I was still doing the work for a 9-year period. I still had guys that were started off paying £200, and at the end they were still paying £200. Now, when I started my agency, SEO was a lot easier. Things were a lot cheaper. You didn't need as many tools, proxies, and everything. But my question is, I'm going to flip this, right? Now, I was stupidly scared to increase the pricing in case the client dropped and I wasn't able to pay everyone. So I was scared and I had a weak mentality. Now, if I'm making a dude, say, £1 million a year and I'm charging him £200 or £300 a month, does he really care if he's going to pay me £300 or £400 a month? Absolutely not. So what you say, Chris, is knowing your value. And obviously a lot of us come into this game fairly inexperienced, not business savvy and everything else. Does that guy really care if he pays me another £100 a month? So it really depends on your mindset. Now, I think for me, anytime I have went to people and said, I need more money for this, links cost more, this costs more, proxies cost more, there's new tools I need, all of this stuff, then people say, no problem. I don't care. My business is running really well. You've got exponential growth of my business, and I want to keep working with you. So you cannot be scared to have those conversations because shit does cost more money. if you want a PR gig, 2 years ago, it was probably a hell of a lot cheaper than it is just now. And that's just all there is to it. It's everything increases, with inflation and stuff. But I think we as SEOs always have that shit. I don't want to rock the boat in case the guy drops out. These guys probably don't give a shit. If you're doing a good job and they've stuck with you for 2 years, then the conversation has to come. Because as far as I'm concerned now, if I was taking on a client will say, how much do I need to spend? How long's a piece of string? The less you spend, the longer it's going to take. The more you spend, the quicker things can happen. But if someone starts off paying, say, $2,000 a month, and they come back to you in 6 months' time and say, Craig, you've tripled my business, you've done this, you've done that. The question for that business owner should be, what happens if I spend $4,000 a month? Or is there any other shit I can be doing? So that is the way you have to think about it, Randy. These people should be increasing their budget all the time. These should be conversations every 6 months. Do you want to spend more in SEO? Do you want to stick more in PR? Do you want to do a bit of this, a bit of that? Try some Facebook ads. Try and get traffic from all sorts of sources. So increasing someone's marketing budget should always be a conversation. It comes up in, when you're dealing with companies, their board meetings and their marketing budgets are discussed every year. What have we got for marketing this year? They don't just say we've got 300 grand every year for marketing. If that company wants growth, their marketing budget has to grow as well. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be asking for more of a piece of that pie. And it makes, when you word it like this, it should make absolute sense for you to say, you're right. And I have got that weak mentality. So that's just my opinion, but bit of a rant. But there you go. And Insight Before Action is thanking Mr. Mullins. Holly is saying, and I think this is about our news network, best way to use them is on tiers. Direct to a client is insane. Andy Cocaine in the UK. We've answered that one. Yala case, what is the errors to avoid with CTR Booster? So have you had much of a play around with CTR Booster, Chris?
No, but we're looking at that. We're testing that though to see how it performs in maps and organic, just to have like an actual case study, like an actual here's a listing, it's brand new, let's see. So personally, not yet. I it's undecided for me. I can't say for sure. Does it work?
I mean, CTR Booster is a tool that I've advocated in the past. I believe it kind of didn't work as effectively to a point where Gareth Acott has taken over and done an amazing job of turning that around and added some new functionality, new features. And I'm personally just back testing it, similar to Chris. And obviously it's got knowledge panel, CTR and all that in there as well, which I want to play around with. So I'm excited, but the people that I know that are working are saying it is working really well just now. It was a bit buggy before. However, I'm not sure what you mean by errors to avoid. When you're doing CTR, you want to test different things, do things like that. You have to use the right type of proxies. People will argue that you've got to use 4G proxies. People will say rotating residential. Everyone's got their own ideas, and it really comes down to what you're trying to do click-through rate manipulation on. I'm pretty sure you would probably argue that the 4G proxies would probably help more with the GMB stuff, Chris. Potentially, they're not required if you were manipulating YouTube videos or a knowledge panel or something else, because it's not as localized. So those are things to consider, Yala case, but people will always debate over which proxies are best, and the packet stream doesn't work that well with CTR Booster. I know that was a thing in the past where I couldn't get it to work, but that was a few years ago. But things have changed and it's got a lot better, so play around with it, man, and figure it out. It is really a great tool. It just was slightly buggy before, which was a pain. So it would work well, then the fucking thing wouldn't work at all. And you're just like, fuck. So that was my experience of it.
I hear that a lot.
So yeah, I ended up throwing it in the bin. No, not in the bin, but put it to the side. But insight before action, Chris, this is more for you. Best way of pushing links to a GMB.
I like posts. Post mirroring is probably one of the more effective ways to build links. Not by creating consistent and persistent posts daily that are fresh. Treat your GMB assets like you would your website. You don't want to go in there and change URLs out. So by creating a posting structure that mirrors the website and updating those posts, like literally just click update and then building links into that, that can help build the authority of the overall asset. So yeah, that's probably one of the better ways of going about it, in my opinion.
And he knows his stuff. Mr. Chase Rayner is here with the shirt. Appreciate the donation, Chase.
I saw he's got a group going too, a localized group.
Has Chase not had the group going for ages?
I didn't think he was doing a maps group. I think it comes on and comes off. I get his emails, so I always like his emails to see what he's doing for marketing, is why I get them, But I saw that he was doing like a localized thing. So quick shout out there. I'm sure that's good.
Yeah. Chase is a good guy. Not so sure about the shirt though, Chase, but Chase has got a lot of knowledge and good experience, and I like Chase. And if he's doing local stuff, fair play. And I always see him, and I snoop around on his TikTok and watched him doing all these kind of automation stuff. So he's a great wealth of knowledge, regardless of what Chase is doing. Didn't realize he was doing a local one, but do check out Chase Rayner. Easy to find. I'm sure you can't miss that shirt or that cat. So check him out. But do appreciate it, Chase. Much appreciated, mate. Ryan Durrani is here. What's up, guys? I'm in the gym on 400 milligrams of caffeine. SEO flowing through his veins, and Craig's poster stuck to the gym ceiling. Enough said. Glennart, attribution question. Every time we send out a big sale email to a few 100,000 clients, organic traffic takes a nice jump up. If we don't, organic is sluggish. Have you seen the same in your experience? Of course, because you're doing click-through rate manipulation to a certain degree with that, which is going to give everything a nice little boost. And then when you stop that traffic, it kind of might dip away again. So, and if you don't do that, then organic can be sluggish. So I think that shows that click-through rate manipulation does give things a little bit of a boost. Whether it be in the short term or how long that sticks around is obviously up for debate and all of that kind of stuff. But Chris, I take it you're going to answer that similarly.
I was curious, what niche is that list in? Few 100,000. I don't recall sending out a few 100,000 emails to double opt-in email recipients, but I would venture to guess that you are affecting the CTR. You're getting click-through, secondary clicks. I would venture to guess that that's probably why you're seeing a lift, much like even dropping mailers. We've noticed when you drop a mailers for, say, a travel club in a particular area, all of a sudden, magically, we start ranking inside of maps a lot higher for our new listings. So I could see that as a click through. You're getting traffic, organic traffic, definite.
The pet food, we're a national pet food manufacturer, so it's a pet food niche.
Nice.
Ryan Durrani has donated $8.99. I'm going to say thank you, Ryan, but that's payment for the poster more than anything. Can't give you secret link building strategies for $8.99. I'm not that cheap. But Ryan knows his stuff on link building. There is no secret link building strategy as such. Everyone's doing the same fucking stuff. It's just you've got to be a bit more creative and stuff like that. But
remember that remember back when like it used to float around, there was like the 790 link building strategies. Remember, it used to be a PDF. Do you remember seeing that back in the day? And now I see like the new like guys on YouTube, and like it'll be, you know, like, oh, hey, this new strategy was number like 463 on the list. And I'm like, I saw that in the PDF in 2005.
Fucking madness.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything, you know, secret, not super secret, just different variations.
Different variations, but a link is a link at the end of the day. Just depends on how you get that.
What do you think about that? So how much more effective on, say, you know, you'll buy these, sometimes you'll buy PBN links and they won't have the quota of 1,000 visits per month, right? Like a lot of guest post services will say, okay, they get 1,000 a month. And then you go and check, and you can see like, okay, this is kind of dodgy. So how much more effective is that site that's doing that, in your opinion, compared to something that's equal strength? Is a link, or would you say that this link over here is slightly better?
I would say the link with traffic in general is slightly better, for sure. What I would argue, though, is if that link that's getting traffic has been sold to 100,000 other people, then how much value is that actually pushing to me? You know, would it be better to go to the other one with as much power, less traffic, but it's only got 5 outbound links on it? So I think that's a question you would need to weigh up and say, you know, that's it. You know, is traffic on a link the only thing that Google are looking at? Absolutely not. Does it help? I think so. You know, having a website that's a trusted source that does get traffic and it's got its own rankings, of course, looks better than some shitty PBN. So I think there's certain things that would gain Google's trust, and I think traffic's one of them when it looks at a website and you know, equates up to, you know, if you said to me, Craig, I've got something here, you know, and it's a DR50, but it's got no traffic, or there's a DR30 here, it's not been spammed to death, but it's got decent traffic, I would take the DR30 at that point, because it's just more natural and more real, and it's got traffic, and it's probably going to be taken more seriously by Google out with the power element. So there isn't a blanket answer for that, but that's the way I would look at it. Like, you know, is this just some piece of shit that Google can pretty much look at and go, it's no traffic, it's just a piece of shit, see you later? You know, I do it myself when I'm researching links, and you know, you're talking to a dude and he's like, yeah, dude, it's this price for a link, and then you go and look at the traffic and you're like, dude, this is some ropey PBN, like, I'm not giving you that. Beat it. So yeah, it's everyone's different, but I think traffic is an important factor, but I don't think it's the only factor. So I think you've got to look at,
what do you think's a fair price for that type of PBN? As if, you know, like maybe a gentleman has a network of, say, 200 sites, and they get a few visits on a monthly basis, but it's blatantly obvious that it's a PBN. What would be your value assumption for a link of that magnitude?
$40 or something. Like the problem you've got is people, you know, for example, me trying to get a link on Forbes India, for example, you know, it's a very, very powerful website. And of course, it's going to cost me a hell of a lot more than it would to be on someone's ropey PBN. It's just the way it is. You know, the way I look at it is a PBN costs you, what, $100 to set up. By the time you get someone to throw a template up on it and stuff, £100. You need to sell 2 or 3 links to make your money back. Do you need to be selling links for 300 quid and trying to pretend that it's this big PR website or as powerful as Forbes India? People are not that stupid anymore. So, you know, I think that's where we're educating people and saying, guys, don't pay because it's DR, whatever, and you can manipulate that. I can go to a Fiverr gig and make any website a DR60 in fucking 10 days or whatever it is. You know, so the price is not based in the DR; it's based on a whole lot of other stuff. So it's I certainly wouldn't be giving anyone any kind of reasonable money. Now, also, I probably would do without the PBN links, unless I was trying to humor someone and someone was saying, show me the links you're getting, show me the links you're getting. Then you just try and get them cheap and just show someone some dog shit just to keep your monthly retainer coming in. So there's loads of different ways or reasons that you might buy from that guy. But certainly if I was going to power up my own website, I would probably be avoiding some shit PBN that wasn't done properly, that had no traffic. I want stuff that's real, with real rankings and real everything. So avoid those shitty PBNs like the plague, because I don't believe they pass that much value anymore. I think back in the day they did, but that would lead on to what's a PBN? What is a real PBN? You know, my PBNs would be an affiliate website, a website that I've got that's doubled up as an affiliate, AdSense, whatever. You know, it does get traffic and all that kind of stuff. It's monetized. It's not just something that's a DR50 and it's parked and it gets no rankings. That's not a PBN for me. That's just bullshit. And that's where people can easily not understand all of that and get dragged into paying a lot of money for absolute crappy links.
Yep. That's well said.
So there you go. Frederick is from France. Good to see you. Hope all is well in France. Insight before action. Play the 80-20 rule. Once you have less than 20% of your time left, increase with new clients and revisit old ones up to your value. Did that over 12 months and doubled my revenue. Very good point. Very good point. And I think that's a good mindset. I could afford to lose a client or two for better ones. It's all about, you've only got so many clients you can handle, and if you need to get rid of some of that shit stuff, then it's a very, very good way of looking at it. So that makes perfect sense. Great suggestion. Insight before action. It's a £5 means what? So pricing to the customer is greatly dependent on what the customer is making based on the service you're providing. If someone is making them 20 grand a month per month, a $500 increase means what? So it's a great way to look at it, Glenn. You know, it's not anything in the grand scheme of things, but if you come from a poor background like I did, I just shit myself to even have a conversation. Like, you're going to even need to go up $50, never mind 500. So I think it's a weak mentality. And as I say, I wasn't educated in business or anything. You know, I was just always learning at the time. So yeah, it is what it is. Mullins is saying, with CTR booster and everything, don't send gobs of traffic. Very good suggestion. It's not always about volume. It's about just tickling the GMB or whatever you want to manipulate. It doesn't have to be an all-out
tickle.
Yeah,
I like that. I love that. I could see that as a training, like a book. Tickling the GMB, you know, like just a little tickle.
Use the SEO tickler. Give everything a little tickle.
I pictured like Elmo, like just give it a little tickle. That's really what you're doing. You're just tickling, like, I tickle the directions. I'll tickle the message box. You know, like I tickle the, over to the website.
No, you can literally use it everywhere. But I'll tell you another one. I was on with Brad and Mike yesterday, and they were talking about domain buoyancy. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking writing that one down. I've literally got it in my notepad. I'm like, I'm stealing that shit. That's good wording. They guys are the geniuses at that kind of.
Yeah, Mike has some good little. Yeah, he's nice with the terms.
Class.
Ed Kabitis too. And I like he's like just making up like, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, oh, that's just density. Oh, okay, I see.
It's fun. Talking about ticklers, Ryan Durrani, buy DRX's course. Great strategies for GMBs. No idea who DRX is, but I'll take your word for it. No reason to disbelieve that. Pro carpet cleaning. You mentioned previously about moving a GMB verified pin to near the city you're targeting to accelerate proximity. So moving a pin, you need to be careful with this, and I'll get Chris to expand on the exact details. Chris, how far can you drag a pin before it needs re-verification is what I want to ask you. Is it so like 4?
You can get lucky. I would try to do it maybe like a mile, if that. I would very short. You used to be able to drag them really far, but if we're talking about, I wouldn't recommend doing that if you have an actual business. I would recommend going out and maybe creating other pins to point into internal pages or even verified listings. I wouldn't just like go into like a client oh, I'm so close to Miami. Like, let's just move. Like, I would be very, very cautious. Very, very cautious. You can get away with it, but what if you don't?
Yeah.
But I would go less than a mile.
Less than a mile. So the goals have changed in terms of how far you go. And as Chris says, you wouldn't want to do that in something that was already verified, that was working well for you. Potentially, if you're doing the old pin drop stuff, if you're doing like the thing that Chris was selling a few months back, the instant verification, and you're creating other pins, then you can drag them about, into different locations for accelerating the proximity. Of course you can. But if that was the case, Chris, is it any different? Would you be only dragging them a mile, or would you be doing like 3, 4, 5 miles? Just so that you had pins surrounding everywhere. How far can you drag those ones?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily drag them, but creating pins, like if you're running, say, a local Falcon grid, and we're green in this particular vicinity, say a 5-mile vicinity, we want to go slightly outside of that to create, say, a pin, and then create a relevant page that's related to that town on your website, and then send that pin to your website, to that internal page. That would be the objective, the goal. We're just trying to get more coverage. Another term that's used, like cloud coverage,
Yeah. So it can be done. It's just how you do it, pro carpet cleaning. But it can be dangerous. Sometimes Google could say, hey, you're at it, and that's it. The thing's suspended or disabled or whatever until you can verify you're actually at that new pin drop that you've just put there.
Yeah, you could get away with making up your own addresses too. Like if, say, you're doing plumbing Miami, your business name is Plumbing Miami, and then you have a verified listing, go in there and change the address to Plumbing Miami Ave. You could do that too, but is it going to go through? Yes, but then they're going to re-trigger a verification. So I saw a couple of guys doing that. Did you see these? Have you seen these?
No.
Yeah, in Australia, I was watching. It's pretty wild. Plumbers Ave, Plumbing Avenue. Yeah, it's crazy.
Jesus. Spam galore.
Spam galore. Right. Correct.
All I can say. There's literally nothing like spam. It's class. It's class that it works. It's good to test. But Kamal is saying, hey, Palmer. I love that, Palmer. I've been waiting for you on Facebook for a long time. Haven't received any reply. Kamal, take my advice. Trying to get a reply out of this guy from anything. Loads of people have said, Craig, can you fucking nudge Palmer? He never replies on Facebook. So
Facebook's tough. And we talked. Him and I spoke today. I saw that he messaged today. I don't have any work right now. Not for that. Not for that, my friend.
So there you go, Kamal. But obviously, keep trying, mate. Good luck with it. Hello, Sammy. How can we remove spam listings? I have a client whose competitor has 3 of the same info, and he's ranking in the 3-pack. How can you overcome that? So, Chris, situation: you see a competitor. And the dude's, up to no good on the Gmbs. Would you go and report them and say they're dodgy, or do you go? You don't want to be seen as a snitch, but would you go and fight against that, or would you literally go and grass them up?
Well, I'm an honest guy, right? So, me personally, I might go. I want to get at least one of those spots. You can't have all 3. I would do everything in my power. I have to get myself or my client in there by any means necessary. So, you got 3. I have to get at least one. It's only right. But the problem is that's a domino.
It's only right. Oh man! So you would grass on a guy you would report that shit? Yeah.
I might not. you know, but I might make that as a recommendation for the client. You know, I might point them in the right direction for a redressal form. I might point them in the ways of Joy Hawkins or Ben Fisher, and I might point them in the right direction, you know.
Anyway, enough said on that. What are the best tools to use for .eu, edu, and .org?
Best tools to use for edu and .org. Two wildly different things. I mean, .orgs are relatively easy to acquire. .edus are tricky little bits. It's a matter of figuring out which, because EDUs can be easy to get, but do they index? Do those profiles index? Because clients don't care about, you know, the link. Like, we know it might pass some juice, but is it in the search results? You know, that's what most people are looking for, and that's probably what you're looking for. And that might be wrong because it doesn't matter, but that's what you want. So you have to first A, figure out which ones are in the search results, and then B, which ones will actually can you go acquire. So yeah, I don't know. Best way of finding them? I don't know. I like Scrapebox.
Scrapebox is a good, solid, old school tool. Highly recommend it myself, and it's only $97, lifetime license. So if you ever want to spend $97 on something that will probably work for the next God knows how many years, because I've had Scrapebox for God knows how many years, it's the best 97 quid I've probably ever spent.
And it updates every week. It's like, yeah, it's awesome.
What's not so awesome is Mullen's going to make a graphic on Tickle the GMB, but
hey,
why not? Why not?
Get some hits.
CTR booster working for YouTube. It used to. Not part of my strategy presently, but is going to be part of my testing. But Chris, have you played around with CTR booster for YouTube?
No, I mean, even the tests that we're running, it's primarily we're focused on maps. You know, getting business owners into the map pack is priority number one for us. You know.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out the prop, like, okay, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. You know, so.
Packet Stream, yeah. So Packet Stream, Glenart, I had problems with on CTR Booster. I use Blazing proxies, and they work fine for me, for what I do on there. However, if I'm going to do any testing, on the kind of GMB thing, which I'm going to do, even though I don't make a bunch of money on GMBs, I want to do it purely for testing reasons. Then I believe that Gareth Acott, the owner, has got a 4G proxy network. I can't remember the name of it, but if you go into the group, they'll be able to tell you. So it depends on what you're trying to do there, but he does have stuff on there that will be beneficial for you from a mobile perspective. But Blazing proxies works for me just in terms of generic proxies on there. So,
or better yet, or two, like if you have a small amount of money, Glenart, to invest, you know, take a look at Proxidize. You know, for a very small amount of money, you'll be able to then go and create some pretty good proxies for yourself that you can utilize for the tools. They might not be as fast as, say, a Blazing, but depending on what you're doing, you'll have something of quality that's yours. You know, you're not sharing. It's not super slow. It's, you know, take a look. Proxidize, check them out. I talked about it in a training years back, about 3 years ago, but very helpful.
Live IRL fan, good to see you, bud. Is it possible to have 10k views, 1k likes, and 1k comments with CTR Booster? I don't believe you can comment with it. I might be wrong, but it's more the engagement, the views that you would get through CTR Booster. It doesn't have the facility, certainly from when I've played with it, to comment or like on there. So that wouldn't be the right tool for what you're trying to achieve on there. Catvic, how to rank my index keyword from second page to first page of Google. It's a fairly loaded question. There could be crap content. Not going to be completely crap because you're on second page, but could you be doing with some more on-page tweaks? Is it link building? Is it something else? it could be a whole bunch of stuff. It's Chris, what would be your answer to this?
Well, if you're top of page 2, that tells me links. Sounds like you're tuned properly, but it's either authority and links. So time and links is probably where the deficit is. But without seeing it, I mean, I'm throwing a dart and I'm just like, wee, just throwing one. So, reach out. I'll help you out, or give me the word. I'll do it. I'll pop on a video after this and we'll do it live.
Chris just loves a live.
They're fun. They're my fave.
But Randy Roday needs an EDU mail account. Chris, surely you get some shady fucker out there.
Good eBay. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Oh, my throat. Good eBay. Oh, man.
There you go, Randy. Bad cough you've got there, Chris.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yellow case. Omega indexing is the index of my preferred choice. I don't use anything else at the moment. That's the one that I go to personally. Do you use anything else, Chris?
No, not currently. Sinbite.
Check that out. Rafal, is there a schedule of lives somewhere? So the lives that, if you're asking me, I do 2 lives a week, both at 5 p.m. UK time on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, or noon EST, or whatever time that translates to. Tuesday, Mike and Brad. Wednesday, Chris. And that's been consistent for like 2 years, pretty much every Wednesday, other than Christmas, or if Chris is not well or I'm not well, or my fucking phone signal doesn't work and I get cut off. But most Wednesdays, we will be here, same time every week. Chris, what about your lives? Do you have a specific other set of lives?
If I do it whenever I have time, or I'm lonely and I'm working. I don't have a set schedule. I hate schedules.
Here's the thing, Rafael. I've literally been in my bed, or got out my bed at 9 in the morning. Now that's going to be like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. where Chris is. And I've seen him doing a live at that time before. I'm literally looking at it and I go, what the fuck? Does this guy ever fucking sleep? So Chris's live schedule is all over. Mine's is consistent. Tuesday and Wednesday, 5 p.m., noon Eastern time. Job done, easy peasy. But whatever Chris does is a different story.
40% of my viewership is across the country. So like when I first started doing them, I was like, I want to be able to service and help these guys, But then it just started like, I don't know. I'm just like bored. I'm like, man, I'm up. Let's see. Let's talk to somebody. Jeez.
Guys, we have a couple of questions left and a couple of minutes left, but please do give a like on the channel or on this video if you've enjoyed the stuff that we're provided with. Our Prosser, good to see you. Our Prosser's asking, who are the white label services you would recommend for GMB rankings? So, Chris, do you white label that shit at all?
I don't. Is there anybody out there that's white labeling guarantee rankings? I find that to be tough. I can offer you select services, but other than that, I never guarantee ranking. That's tough. That's just tough.
Yeah. But our Prosser, out of people that are doing GMB, I'm sure Chris has got to be up there with some of the ones that are doing the most testing and doing all of that stuff. So shoot Chris a message and speak to him, and hopefully you can try and figure something out, because that would be where I would go to. Hopefully that helps you, Prosser. Yellow case, how do you compare GSA, which I think you're a fan of GSA, Chris, versus SEO Autopilot?
I like both. There's no comparison. They're two separate tools. They're both great tools. I mean, it's, why if you have the budget, why not both? I think, this has a great set and it does what it does very well. SEO Autopilot does what it does very well. So they're both good tools. I don't think it's a compare thing. I think they're both good automated link building tools.
Interesting. I'm going to check this out, by the way. The next thing that's up on the screen, QNI Q&I tube action for YouTube. So have you heard of this, Craig? Hey, fucking hell, I can't believe I called you my name. I can't multitask. That's how
you're probably thinking to yourself, have you heard of this? Like,
but have you heard of this? Obviously, he's saying it's getting good reviews, but he doesn't know whether it's legit or not. I would suggest test it anyway, because
for sure.
I've found some amazing golden nuggets in Black Hat World over the years. I'm not saying everything's great, but there's been some things where I've went, oh man, and I've had a right good run at using a specific tool or whatever. Mass Planner being one of them years ago, found that in Black Hat World. And I'm telling you, that thing still works to this day. So there's some stuff on there that you can get a proper run at. So test it out, man. I'd be interested. I'm going to have a look myself. But Chris, do you still hang about on Black Hat World?
I love Black Hat World. Good reads, you know.
Matthew is asking the best thing to use Scrapebox for in regards to Gmbs.
I think just scraping your overall information, it's good for. You know, whatever you do manually, you could probably do it within Gmb or within Scrapebox. Sorry.
Yeah. There's loads of plugins to do all sorts of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Another question, Adam Hawthorne. Have you ever attempted to pay local people to do CTR manipulation for you, e.g. house mums? I've not done that, but why wouldn't you just do like local Facebook ads? Just a lot easier. But then they're not taking the action that you may be wanting to take. So it's a good suggestion, Adam. A good suggestion. I've not personally tried it, but
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Man, how much would you charge? How much would you pay someone to click on, your Gmb and do this and that, like to a house mum? Like,
yeah, it's tough. It's
tough.
And
also, if you're getting 100 of them to do it, that's 100 payments and 100 this and 100 that. That's literally a fucking ball ache, man.
Unless you got like 50 clients in a select area and then you got 100 moms, and you might have something, but that's tough. How do you set that up? The logistics is like, that'd be rough.
Live IRL fans saying, is it safe to buy an EDU email to get software for cheap or for free? He wants to use it for Adobe CC. Or is there any other ways to get stuff like that for cheap? Chris is the cheap guy. Chris, how do you get Adobe cheap?
Well, Adobe, I never really messed around with Adobe. But there's certain accounts that you can achieve, but there's secondary validations that generally come up. So the best thing to do is you'll have to go in there and try like the services that you want, that you're trying to get like a discount because you're a student. Sometimes there's a little bit more than, just filling out those details. There's secondary stuff that they don't say on the sign up page. So just try it out whatever you're trying to get, try it. You might get lucky. Probably not, but give it a go. I think it's not worth your time. I've tried it numerous times. You usually get caught up. And then a lot of the ones like the Southwest California and all the ones that really float around a lot don't work. So good luck. It's tough.
Got two last quick questions, and then we are wrapping up, guys. This one I can't answer. How to rank one in Google. We could argue for 2 hours about that and all the different techniques. So it's too generic a question. If you do want to ask questions, try and make them something we can answer relatively quick.
Make it something we can answer. Yeah.
But Yala Case is saying, if you get any advice you would share for branded searches,
branded searches, something I would do is figure out what the top performer is actually getting for their brand name for the keywords that you want to win, and that's your threshold. So like if I want to win for plumbing San Antonio, I want to figure out what the top performer is doing, pull that into SEMrush, take a look at their branded traffic. There's your threshold. Like that's what the top performer is getting. Like you don't want to go above that and you don't want to go half of that. You want to get around that. So that'd be the best advice.
Yeah. And Live IRL fans saying he's cheap like Chris. So they know you too well, Chris. last one, our process going to go and tickle his GMB. But last one, Chris, when can we expect a live with Holly, Chris, and Craig? I'm happy to have Holly on mine, but I don't know if you want to do a different thing in your channel or Holly's channel.
I'll have you guys on. And gals. You guys can come over to my way. I'll come over here. I'm down with Holly and Craig anytime. Whenever they say go, I'll be there. I'm ready.
So I'll speak to Holly because Holly, I don't know if she's still here. Probably not, because she was on my mastermind for an hour and a half as well. So she's probably sick of listening to my voice. I'm laughing at Matthew's thing, Gucci goo. Jesus.
It'd be cool to get a panel like a Craig, Holly, Chris, Gotch. I might be able to, like a Gotch Ruan, maybe like that'd be cool, like a white hat and maybe Chase too. That could be good. I might be able to do that at some point. I think we might be able to work that out, man. That would be sick, right? And then be able to answer the questions, and then it's both sides. Like, oh, hey, what would you do? What would you do? That'd be cool.
Stefan, we've been asking this live IRL fan guy to bloody contact us for ages. He keeps himself anonymous, but it's let us know, live IRL fan. One last thing for you, Chris. CF Bass. Chris, can you do an OTYS Google entity stack demo, including how you link them together and what kind of anchor text you use?
I mean, that's not something I would do. I would do that in the mastermind. And I'm taking Alibaba's a little tricky, so I'm building out the rest of the cloud portion for Alibaba as we speak. So you can look forward to that training coming out soon, or in the mastermind. If you're curious of something, I'll be happy to walk through it.
And the next live for me and Chris will be same time next week. So next Wednesday, 5 p.m. UK time, noon EST, or wherever the hell you are in the world, translate it from there. And Craig Mullins, I will send you a link, my man, to that. But we are 1 hour and 6 minutes, so we're actually over. So we are done for today, guys. So hopefully you enjoy tickling your GMBs and Gucci goos and all of that other stuff. Live IRL fan, you need to tell us how the hell we get in touch with you. Business mods, 2 indexing softwares. Chris, you said one which was called
Stinbyte.
And mine's is omegaindexer.com.
Is Omega working for you again?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe they fixed it since I haven't looked at that in about 2 weeks. I know it was giving me a heck of a time about 2 weeks ago, though. It was the last time. So I have credits over there.
I think indexing in general was just fucked up, a few weeks back, or maybe from November even. Sure. So there was something going on, and obviously the tools have got to adapt. But Omega's fine. And Yalla case, I'm in Dubai next month. AffiliateWorldConference.com. Looking forward to Dubai. But hopefully Mullins is sticking a knife in here. Omega's not working super good for me at the moment. It's working though. But anyway, guys, we are out of time. So we will catch you all next week. Do check out Mr. Chris Palmer SEO for his lives, masterminds, and ODYS and everything else. Other than that, speak to you soon, guys. Cheers.
See you. Thank you.